I'm enjoying this very much today.
I would like to start off by saying thank you for your service, obviously when you're in the military, but all throughout the rest of your life representing our country in a respected fashion. I appreciate that.
It's been an honor, and I appreciate your remembering. It was a long time ago now.
Yeah, but you can't forget stuff like that. We got to keep reminding people.
Do you know how old I am now?
It's all over the news.
It is.
It is. You hit triple digits.
I hit
Happy
the
big
triple
100.
Yeah. I'm shooting for 120 to see if I can make a record.
Go for it. I'll be at that one too.
Okay, that'll be great. Yeah. And next week there's going to be a get-together up at the Bradley Airfield at the air show, and they've got my plane up there.
You're kidding.
Yeah, the P-47 Thunderbolt.
Wow.
And I'll be sitting by it and talking about the plane. As a matter of fact, I have some of my paperwork from the old days on the old P-40. You might have heard of the P-40.
Yes, I have.
That's the Warhawk. The Warhawk here was a P-40. This is the one that had the shark's mouth painted on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With the teeth, yeah.
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 See, it's a beautiful plane. Yeah. And the P-47, of course, was more advanced and had much more firepower. Now this is a P-51 on the cover here. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
There's a Warhawk.
Oh, yeah.
Right to it. Yeah, you see, that was traditional to paint that on it. And they were flying in the early days of the war. And the Flying Tigers, you might have heard of them.
Yes.
This is the plane they used in the Flying Tigers.
Okay.
Yep. So we were flying these. As we were finishing our training, they gave us this real fighter plane to fly in so we could get to know what a fighter really felt like. But then to go into combat, the P-47 Thunderbolt was the real plane.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Was it cheaper to crash one of these than a P-47?
Well, we tried not to crash them. Unfortunately, we did, of course, and lost some of our fellows in them. Yeah. And that's part of the unfortunate part of it. Of course, is some of it did get killed in training, which is, you know, it's difficult, but that's what you have to expect.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. So what are some of the things that you've been talking about, or some of your favorite experiences that you like to share with folks?
Well, of course, I was very young when I was in the service. I went in, tried to get in when I was 17. They made me wait till I was 18. So I didn't start flying until I was 18. And it's quite a lengthy training, and not many make it.
Where was your training back then?
Pardon?
Where was the training?
It was all over. Oh, yeah. A lot of it down in Texas and New Mexico. They sent us to school, and they may cram the first year of college into us in 3.5 months.
Oh, my goodness.
It was either put up or get out.
Yeah, wow.
And that's what we did. And for every one that started, every 100 that started, one finished. Is what, from the beginning
you really like
of taking
the odds.
exam, and everything. It was difficult, but you had to come up to snuff in order to be able to do it. And like I say, I was 18 before I started into the training. And I was in the service. I was called an aviation cadet once I got accepted into the training. And when you finished, you could either become a flight officer or a second lieutenant, depending on your performance. And I was commissioned as a second lieutenant 1 month past my 20th birthday. When I look back now and look at a 20-year-old.
You're scaring me, Boo.
Oh,
But what was that like to be that age and flying?
thrilling.
Oh my God, thrilling, yeah.
Thrilling and very satisfying in a way. And of course, it was, we lost, in the training alone, we lost 15 people.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's very difficult to do, but I think they've improved things now, but it's still quite a thing to become a pilot anyway.
A lot of responsibility.
Yeah. And particularly if you're a fighter pilot, you're all by yourself, you've got no one to depend on but you.
Wow.
So you better learn what you're supposed to do and do it.
And do it without thinking. You just got to do it.
Do it. Do it right. Yep.
And where did you spend most of your time in the service?
Oh, here, there, and everywhere.
Oh, they kept moving you around. Okay.
Moved me around from place to place. They were sending me into the Pacific there at the end of the war. Word leaked out that I was coming, and they gave up.
You know, they heard
That's
that
my story.
you're 1 in a million. They're like, uh-oh, he's coming. We're out of here. Garabedian's on his way.
There you go. Yeah, and it has been quite a life since then.
Well, what did you do when you get out of this? I mean, to
Well-
go from being a fighter pilot to, I don't know, a hardware clerk. Like,
Actually, it's very interesting you asked that because I just didn't want to settle down yet. I was still very young.
Yes.
And I joined the Merchant Marine. And I sailed in the Merchant Marine
Oh,
for a
my
while.
goodness, wow.
Then finally decided I'd better do a little something by getting an education. So I went back to school, went to BU,
Nice.
and got into marketing and so forth, and worked for several large companies in the marketing field. And then later on decided that field they call in computers and everything sounds very interesting, so I got into computers.
Congratulations.
And I worked a number of years for different companies, Connecticut General and Aetna Life and Casualty. And I ran a subsidiary for Aetna Life and Casualty through the closing years of my career, and ran that company for the last 10 years for Aetna.
Wow.
And was successful with it, managed to make money for them. And I retired early and still had the itchy bug.
Yeah.
Loved to travel.
Sure.
And did a lot of traveling, and eventually opened up a travel agency too,
My
as
goodness.
well as a travel club. So managed to visit 101 countries,
Oh my
and I've
goodness.
sailed every ocean in the world.
Wow. Very cool.
Been around a little bit.
And that's when traveling really meant something.
Oh yeah, well, it still does. I don't travel quite as much, but usually I get one cruise a year in and so forth, and head down south and here and there, and enjoy life. And along the way, of course, I met the most wonderful girl in the world.
You couldn't have. He did, my husband.
Huh? Good for him.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
How about, what'd you do with the second most wonderful girl in the world?
Well, the second most wonderful girl in the world and I traveled the world.
Oh, she liked to
In
travel.
between having a few kids.
How many's a few?
12. I don't do anything by half measures.
Apparently not. And you're
When
married
I get
someone.
into something, I get into it.
Literally.
Right? So we had 8 sons and 4 daughters, of which 10 of the children are still living now.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And,
Sorry for your loss, though.
I've got lots of grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and even a couple of great-great-grandchildren.
No way.
nowadays.
Wow. I want to be at your family
You
reunion.
know, we have them twice a year. as a
Twice
matter
a
of-
year?
Yes, twice a year.
Wow.
Yeah. We have one coming up in June now, and then we have one again in December just before Christmas. And just about all of them managed to get there for the reunions.
That's wonderful. That's
and
wonderful.
you have of course, a large group now. And my wife unfortunately died, but we had 72 years together.
Wow.
72
And she
years.
gave you 12 children.
Yeah.
All right, she's number one.
Oh. Yeah, you think I didn't want to argue with you.
That's all right. I'll agree with you.
You'd be hard coming up to her standard. She was wonderful and spirited, and we loved to camp. We loved to get the kids out camping with us, and we traveled with them all over the country and went many, many places. And
Awesome.
The kids all enjoyed it. And one of my granddaughters over there now taking pretty good care of me. Let me
She
tell
is,
you.
yes.
Yeah. And now that my wife is dead, I live with my oldest daughter in Tolland, and in a lovely place, very nice, and have my own quarters, and I'm very happy there. And we do a lot of traveling too. Yeah.
Where do you like to go now?
Well, we travel mostly in this country, as far as in the country, but then we like to cruise a little bit.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I cruise. One of the cruise things I like to do, and the kids tell me I've been on 76 cruises, but I don't know whether that number's right or not, but somewhere around that. So we've cruised the whole world, and among cruising, what I really like is repositioning cruises.
Well, they're very quiet, I heard.
Well, they're a lot of fun, and they go to little different places, you know. And usually they're a little longer,
Yeah.
couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and you get into the cruise life, you know, an awful lot.
I wouldn't recommend that to a new cruiser because
Oh,
not
not
all the
new,
services
no.
are available.
No,
Which came first, cruising or being a travel agent?
Oh, cruising started, and when I was working for Life and Casualty, I became pretty well known in the company. I headed up the United Way drive for them a couple of years.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
so the people in the company got to know me pretty well. And I was doing a lot of traveling, so I started a travel club.
Oh.
And ended up with close to 8,000 people in that. So we did a lot of
Look out,
things.
Pirelli. Here you come.
Yeah, say again?
Pirelli, was that Pirelli Tours? Is that the
No,
Italian
no,
tour guide?
I called it Value Travel.
Value Travel.
Value Travel. And then one of my boys wanted to get into business, so we opened a travel agency too. And then I retired. I had enough of corporate life and was in a fortunate position I could do it and afford to do it. So,
Good for you.
yeah. So I retired when I was 60 years old.
Good for you.
So
That's a
now
lot of living by 60.
Oh, yeah. And we kept on and traveled and traveled and traveled and did a lot of great things together.
What would you advise young people who have the itch like you did and they're joining the service?
Well, two things. Lead a good, clean life. And that means not smoking. Forget it. I did smoke when I was younger. I found it very difficult to give it up, but after 3 tries, I finally succeeded in giving it up.
What's on your jacket here? We'll get a picture of
I'll
it.
turn that around so you can get a picture.
It says
of
the Jug,
that is-
P47,
Yeah.
D Thunderbolt.
It is. Isn't that nice?
It is.
Yeah.
And is that like Calamity Jane firing off her guns?
There you go. That was one hell of a plane. 850 caliber machine guns. Okay, and 2 500-pound bombs we carry. Oh, it was a hell of a plane. It was a hell of a plane. Flying tank, they used to.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, it was very good. Not only good in the air, but it gave good support to ground troops.
Good maneuverability.
Yeah. Well, they'd come up like something like these fellas are doing here, maybe on the other side, 100 or 200 yards away, the enemy would be entrenched with maybe a tank, maybe with some submachine guns, you know. It'd be tough trying to work through, so they call in the P-47s.
Yeah.
They'd call in, and we could, of course, go over and dive down, and with 850 caliber guns shooting at them and dropping 500-pound bombs, open the way up so that the troops could get through.
So, what do you think of the use of drone warfare?
I think it's a very interesting aspect of the thing. In fact, I'm thinking of trying to learn how to fly a drone so I could do that.
Well, there you go.
Help them.
You've been sitting around doing nothing for the last 10 years.
Yeah, I got to keep busy. I got to keep active. I need something to keep me going. I'm thinking of learning to fly a drone.
Well, my nephew did it, and he got certified, and he gets thrilling footage. It's an amazing way to see the world, too.
I guess it is.
Yeah.
I guess
And
it is.
it's interesting that you can see the what was done with war so long ago and how each phase changes a little bit.
Yep. It does change, doesn't it, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Well, I guess that's about all I can tell you about it now. You can call me Clampy.
Okay, great.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
And today we're here at the reenactment, and we're talking with Morgan. Welcome and hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So what are you doing here today?
I'm stopping by to see all these cool stuff in reenactment.
So I see you have some gear of your own. Have you been studying the wardrobe, not the wardrobe, the uniform?
Yeah,
First thing we always do is clear.
I want to like join one of these groups, so I've been like checking out all this
Sit
stuff.
clear.
Yeah, and asking for a lot of stuff and saving up money too.
Done.
Well, what brought you here? What brought your interest up on World War II reenactment?
So when I was 5 years old, actually, my mom brought me to the USS Intrepid, and
So, as you were saying, you were 5 years old, you went to see the Intrepid,
yeah.
and then you found out on Facebook that they had reenactment groups.
And I just started getting really interested. I looked all over. I found this group, and I just did a lot of research. And I started coming to events like this one. It's a really cool experience for me.
Awesome. What's it like meeting people that have actually served in the military?
For me, it's like so like cool. I like admire them, and like it's cool to like talk to people who have had that experience and stuff like that.
I hear you have a lot of varied interests, and you're making a movie.
Yeah,
And what's the subject of the movie?
it's World War II, and so me and all my neighborhood friends, and I invite some friends over from school. I get a bunch of gear together, and we bring out cameras and shoot our movie, and it's really fun. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. I mentioned that you should bring it by the studio, and I think that'll be great. And maybe you'll get to talk to me about it later.
Yeah, that would be cool. It's a work in progress.
I would imagine. So you live nearby, but not in this area. So do you go to different reenactments, or do you follow one particular group?
I normally go to every reenactment I can, but this group is like the one I follow, like, and yeah.
Well, while you're in the area, maybe your grandmother will take you to the Civil War Museum.
Yeah.
I think you might find that interesting. That's here in Vernon,
Yeah.
or Vernon Rockville. I gotta get that right.
Yeah.
Have you been to the Air and Space Museum and any of the places around here in Connecticut?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to. We like it. What's been your favorite piece of equipment to see?
Probably like the weapons, like the rarer weapons, like they're cool. They're like so big. Yeah. It's cool to see them.
Well, I'm so glad you came today. I think this is wonderful. I wish the weather cooperated a little bit more, but enjoy the day today. Thank you.
PFC Wilson. We are from the Pacific, usually around 42 to 43. So this is all very early war gear. HBTs for sweat and cool and comfort.
Go right around. Everything.
Huh? The old haversacks here, 39? 28. 28, don't listen to me. All the belts and stuff were khaki, not green. A lot of it was old World War I surplus and in between war nonsensical inventions.
I'm PFC Otis. I'm in the same unit as PFC Wilson, 42 to 43, 43rd Infantry, 169th Division, Fox Company. And what's your name here?
Kyle.
Kyle?
Kyle, private, 101st Airborne, 506. My uniform differs from theirs because it's a jump uniform. Use parachute out of airplanes. Same firearms.
Now, what inspired all of you to get into reenacting, specifically the World War II? I know Civil War's kind of a popular.
Yeah, so my granddad actually served in the 77th Division on Okinawa in World War II, and it wasn't something he ever talked about. But right about the time he passed away in the mid-90s, he started to actually bring in some of his experiences. And that inspired me. I was at about middle school at the time. And as I got a little bit older, I wanted to know more about where he was and what he did. And so I got to reading books, I got to watching movies, I got to checking out documentaries and going to the library. And I was able to find out his whole history of where he was overseas and what he did. And it just kind of inspired me to kind of keep those stories going. So now a lot of what we do are living history events where we get to educate the public in the same way, where we inspire the younger kids and we're able to kind of tell them some stories to give them something that they might be interested in and they might want to do.
Did you say your name and rank?
Oh yeah, my name is Mel Romero, First Sergeant, F Company, 169th Infantry, 43rd Division. I'm the top non-commissioned officer for our unit. I make sure that the guys are trained and that they know their stuff.
Now, how often do you have exercises like this?
So typically we like to get together about once or twice a month. We actually work really closely with the Tallinn Military Museum.
Oh.
And we go there, we provide displays, we help talk about the stuff, and then we do portions where we learn how to drill, how to be a soldier in World War II.
Are you being called to duty? Am I hearing somebody
Bob
yelling?
is leaving.
That Bob is leaving.
Yeah,
Hey, gentlemen, thanks for your service. Thanks for your passion to keep this alive.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for spreading the word, too.
The most important event in the history of the 20th century, World War II.
That's
and all the
exactly
people
why.
who served.
That is true.
Heroes, all of them. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, and welcome back. We're here talking to Doug Crawford. He's the one who organized this wonderful event. Doug, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thank you for doing this.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's something that we've been working on for the last couple of years to get the guys down here and work together and learn how to become a World War II soldier.
What got you started?
So I have a long history in reenacting. I've been doing reenacting probably 15 years. I started off as a Rev War soldier.
Okay.
And as my son got a little bit older, we started getting into our family history. My father served in World War II. Sure. So it was just a good thing for us to do to honor my father, and that's how we kind of got started with this unit.
And your father's name?
Charles Crawford. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate your family service. Thank you.
Thank you.
What does it feel like to see the young people here?
To me, it's awesome because one of my goals was to get my son out of his room, off the computer, and out into the field. So he plays these video games. I'm like, let's go out and learn how to do them for real. So when I see young guys out here, it fills my heart up because I know that they're not wasting time in their bedroom. They're out here running around getting exercise. They're learning history. And it's just something it's good to see.
Now, I understand they're shooting blanks, so is there But is there still an age limit for getting involved?
Yeah, so typically 16 years old with a parental signature, or usually parents are on site, then they can fire blanks. Live firing is 18, so, but we typically don't do that at reenactments. This is Rockville Fish and Game Club, where they were kind enough to let us use the property today, so we do want to thank them. And they have obviously a rifle range here, so we're taking advantage of having that ability to do some live firing today, so they can actually feel like what it was like to really fire these M1 Grands.
I remember the first time I fired a gun, it was the smell that got me. It wasn't the weight or the feel or the recoil. Everybody kept saying the recoil, but it was the smell. That was what really...
The gunpowder.
Yeah, the gunpowder really got to me, like, whoa, that really just happened.
Yeah. And a lot of these guys feel that, so we like to have them fire blanks because that really kind of hooks them, you know. When they feel the recoil of the weapon and the smell of the gunpowder, it kind of just brings it to another level where they really can kind of feel, wow, this is real. This is what these guys really did, you know what I mean? So it kind of sinks in a little bit more when they get that experience.
Have you attended any of the Civil War reenactors?
So I've never done Civil War. I know there's a lot, it's big out there. I've only done the Rev War and World War II, but I know that's a big community out there as well.
It's huge, yes, yes. Well, I bet you it's easier to get a uniform for World War II versus Rev.
Well, it is, but typically Rev War, you got to hand sew everything.
Yeah.
So you can't buy it off the rack. And luckily with World War II, there's a lot of websites out there where you can buy reproduction items. We try not to wear original stuff out on the field because we obviously don't want to destroy it. It's 80 years old stuff. But we do have a lot of authentic equipment and stuff as well. So.
And any advice to anybody who wants to start getting involved?
Just do it. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that just, I don't think they realize the whole hobby itself is just a wonderful thing because you're getting outside, it's camaraderie, it's learning history, and it's teaching others that history, and it's so important for us to pass that on to the next generation. Yeah. And we need more reenactors out here doing that kind of stuff.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And how did you meet Bob Garabedian, who is here today?
Bob is a wonderful guy. So we met him a couple years ago. His granddaughter, they were having his 100th birthday. And she reached out to us, and we were actually having a drill on the same day. So I packed up the entire unit. We went to his birthday party, and we came marching in to his surprise, and we lined up with him, took pictures, and of course he's just such a articulate man for 101. He talks well, I mean, a lot better than I do. So
he was great. I just interviewed him. It was great.
Yeah, so that's how we met him, and he just comes to all of our events. He loves to come down. He loves to talk to the public, and you know, he eats it up. So we love having him. So.
It was a pleasure talking to him.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Oh, no problem.
I appreciate all this as a history buff myself.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
All right.
How did you get authorization to use blanks?
Well, typically, I don't think you really need authorization. I mean, we're at a gun club, so they fire here all the time. But so we don't really get a lot of opportunities like at home because you got neighbors and whatnot. So a place like this is great that we're able to come out here and fire blanks. And like I said, live fire too, which is going to be an added benefit for a lot of these young guys who have never had a chance to actually fire their guns. So.
Do you correspond with other reenactors across the country?
We do. So today we actually have groups from Airborne, we have Marines, we even got a German soldier out here running around learning American drills. So it is a close-knit community, and that's the whole point, is we want all these groups to come together, drill together, train together, so when we do reenactments, we can work well with each other. It's safer that way, and that's really, I mean, we want to portray it accurately, but we want to be safe with it too.
Very good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
all right, thanks.
And here we are talking with Wesley Allen, one of the best dressed at the reenactment today. Wesley, what got you started?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I'll be selfish for a minute. I have come from a very lengthy military career, and I miss the green. And there's many veterans and non-veterans alike, and you've got members of the units that, you know, their fathers or grandfathers would serve, or their brothers or something like that. So I signed on for the camaraderie, but also for the history. I do believe that as World War II reenactors, we can give the public and I'll call it a 4D history lesson, more than 3D because you get the smell and the noise.
Yeah.
And, it's, war is a terrible thing, as we know, but we should never forget our struggles in the past to get to where we are today. And I firmly believe that, so it's just a really good group of people. We're all like-minded World War II history geeks, if we could use that term. So, so I enjoy it that way. And I've met, I wouldn't call them friends, I'd call them more like a brotherhood than a friendship. So, and that's what I like. And today, that's what we're building here with these young men.
All ages are here today. It's
Yes.
wonderful. I love it. And how long have you been with this particular group?
I have been with the Mist Drops, which is led by Captain Dave Savoy from Saugus in Massachusetts. I've been with them for a little more than a year, and before that, I was with Company D of the 104th Infantry, Re-Enactors of the 26th Infantry Division. And I still am with them, but my energy for the past year has been with the Mist Drops, which is a term used by airborne troops who were misdropped in the wrong place, and they had to find their way back. D-Day. Yeah, so I'm part of the 82nd.
Thank you for your service.
Well, I didn't serve with, I was never a paratrooper.
No,
but
you were in the military.
Yes,
though, yeah.
infantry and engineers.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. So what do you think? I was asking Bob this.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on how war has changed in the sense using drones?
Well, I did Iraq 20 years ago, 06, 07, and drones in those days were basically just reconnaissance.
Ah.
And now that they're used as offensive and for defensive purposes, and it's kind of scary, unfortunately there's all sorts of videos out there that see men from both sides losing their lives to these devices. So it's psychologically, it's kind of like the 21st century of a bayonet charge. You're basically, they can fly these things into bunkers and all sorts. So it's basically you're at the mercy of these things.
Yeah.
Unless there's a countermeasure to, and I do believe there is.
Sure.
Yeah.
They just haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, believe it or not, they just went old school and used 12-gauge shotguns to shoot them down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like skeet shooting.
Yes. Yeah.
And so you mentioned Saugus. Are you from Mass?
No, I'm from New Hampshire.
Yeah. Well, alrighty.
See, Mist Drops. You're from all over the place.
You are a Mist Drop.
Yeah.
So you're visiting this area for this event?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, thanks for driving down.
Sure.
I don't know if you can tell from my accent, but I'm from Mass too.
There you go. Yeah, the car, right?
Oh yeah, Pakistan, Harvard Yard,
Yeah.
Move it along.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. You've driven a long way. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And thank you for your service. Thank you for your service with the rest of us history buffs around here.
Sure. It's a really good time. I was just commenting to Doug that these guys won't be sleeping tonight because they'll be so G'd up from all the fun today. And it is fun, you know what I mean? It's, where else can you get a bunch of guys get together, go camping and do a little bit of shooting and sit around a campfire sort of thing. It's a pretty good time.
Well, thank you again, and I hope you get more and more people to join you soon.
Well, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, and thank you for joining us today. I got to watch some of this awesome action, and you, in this particular role, portray a Marine captain.
Yes.
And have you been in the military yourself?
Yes, I have.
As in the Marines?
Yep.
Thank you.
Spent 6.5 years in the Marine Corps.
Wow.
I'm actually third generation. I had a grandfather who fought in World War II. So
this really gets personal.
It does. It does. And I think it does for a lot of us. Because even if you don't know of a relative that served, fought in World War II, it's still our national history.
It is.
It's still something that we all did. It was still, that we were part of. The entire nation mobilized for this. You had millions of men lining up. You had 350,000 women that served in World War II. You had the home front, the factories, the victory gardens, like everything.
Yeah.
But this is stuff like this is where it all started.
When did we? Yes.
Recruit training. These are the basic fundamentals of what soldiers or Marines would have learned before being shipped off to advanced training for whichever theater they were destined to.
Yeah, I like the idea that it's part of it is the history, part of it is the physicality and the camaraderie.
Mm-hmm.
and the sharing of our history.
Absolutely. I mean, you have people here from a number of different units: Airborne, Pacific Theater Army, European Theater Army, me as a Marine. All of us coming, all of us were from different units when we started, but as you started to see out there, we're all coming together as a unit, and that's what that cohesive training does. And then put it in with guys that you're going to spend the next however many years with on the front lines or whatever, you're going to get even tighter. And that builds that unit pride, that unit cohesion, and that combat effectiveness that allowed us to go forward and achieve victory.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for doing this with your free time. I appreciate it. My husband and I are history buffs and
love that.
Love being here.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, if you get a chance, drop by the New England Air Museum at the end of August. We'll be doing a really big World War II event. Like a lot more people than we have here. So.
I think we'll have to put that on our calendar.
Please do. Please
Thank you again.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Ian.
Yeah.
Mason, hi, welcome. And what are you doing here today?
So I'm the second lieutenant of the 43rd Infantry. As my dad probably explained, this was our grandfather's unit during the war. And so I usually portray him as my portrayal, but right now I'm just the second lieutenant. We're going to keep these guys under control.
Oh, okay. So how long have you been doing this?
So I've been doing World War II reenacting for about 5 or 6 years now, but I've been a reenactor for almost 11.
11 years? When'd you start? When you were 5?
When I was 13.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. And was the reenacting right away with the World War II reenactors, or did you do others? Because I hear reenactors like to try different...
So we started with the Revolution, especially when now that the 250s are coming up and everything. So we started doing Revolutionary War. Our first event was Rebels and Redcoats at Old Sturbridge Village.
Oh, yeah!
And so that was our first event ever that we did, and from there we got really into it, really big. My dad was the commander for our Rev War unit for 6 years, and passed it on to someone else. And we've always had a special connection because both of my grandfathers fought in the war.
Oh, both of them?
Mom's father was on the USS New Jersey from 41 to 45. My dad's father was in this unit from 39 to 45.
Wow. Your family's entrenched in the history.
Yeah.
You look very happy right now.
I have a lot of fun with this. This is kind of my thing. So.
Yeah, I hear the excitement whenever you guys were coming off the field and the adrenaline.
It gets you. It gets going. It really does. Once the guns are going and guys are screaming, it gets really into it. So it almost feels like you're actually there. But obviously, we know we're not.
Right, but I'd love to see more people get involved.
It's a great hobby. The people are awesome. Everyone has that shared interest in something. You can see the passion throughout the different units. Like everyone takes it very personal. Everyone usually either has a personal connection or just a really strong interest to it. And so we try to keep that history alive through our passion.
Well, it definitely was an interesting afternoon for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it. Thank you very much. We'll hopefully see you soon.
I hope to see you guys again soon as well.
Thank you.
Platoon, halt! Fall out for instruction.
Already? We loading? Keep it real. Load it.
All right, listen in. This details from the sitting position, lock and load. Keep your weapons parallel to the ground when loading. Pay attention to the words of command. There you go. What? Listen in.
Listen.
50 yards. 50 yards to your target in front. 8 rounds on your own time.
Fire!
Mason, put your glasses on.
This is why the crowd's lost.
Everybody done?
Yes, sir.